Hello everyone. Today I will take you to learn how gill net fishing is different from seine netting. Let's go. Gill nets are single-strand nylon nets that are placed on the seabed and left for fish to catch. Each end is anchored and the net is held to the seabed by a weighted foot rope and held by a floating head rope. The size of the mesh and the soak time are specific to each fish species targeted and are regulated by the legislation for each fishery. Local dormitory regulations govern mesh sizes within the Cornwall Coastal Dormitory, and EU regulations govern mesh sizes outside the 12-mile limit. Nets cannot be used during strong tides, so around Cornwall most netters will stop fishing at high tide. Gill nets are designed to be selective. Fish smaller than the mesh size can pass through unharmed, while fish larger than the mesh size will be deflected when touching the net, except in cases where the net is tangled. Fish of suitable size are selected when their heads pass through the net and they are then caught by the gills. Each gill net can be up to 114 meters long, and multiple nets, up to 30, are tied together to form a tier. Large net boats will release 5 or 6 layers of net every day, which can be nearly 20 kilometers long. Compared to trawls, gill nets use less fuel and therefore the fishing method produces a lower carbon footprint. Tangle nets are large, 20 mesh nets set loose on the seabed to trap species such as tilapia, flounder, crayfish, pollock, and spider crabs. Cod nets are placed in deep water to catch cod. They have a mesh size of 120 to 125 millimeters, 3 meters high from the seabed. Red mullet nets are small mesh nets, 70 to 90 centimeters wide, placed close to the shore with the goal of catching high-value red mullet. Wreck nets are large nets deployed on reefs and wrecks to catch pollock, saithe, ling and cod. Because gill nets are released to catch fish and then abandoned, there is still a chance that mobile fishing gear can be pulled through the set net even when the fisherman has made every effort to communicate the net's location. This often results in partial or complete loss of the mesh. Activities such as netting wrecks and netting over reefs can also result in nets being torn or lost. Lost nets can continue fishing and are often called ghost nets. They pose a real threat to marine life. How long they continue to fish depends on many factors, although fishermen expect strong currents to wash away their nets until they are no longer a threat. More evidence is needed to prove this. Another problem with gill nets is the risk to larger marine animals such as dolphins, porpoises, sharks, rays and seals. Monofilament nets are difficult to see when they are underwater, and large predators can accidentally become entangled in the nets.
You see some very amazing things, just even seeing the sunrise in the morning when you're first going out into the water is just really beautiful.
The scale of this problem was highlighted by the Cornwall Wildlife Trust's Marine Strandings Network in 2015. 96 crustacean carcasses were found washed up on Cornish beaches. 12% of these proved to have evidence of accidental bycatch and drowning in fishing nets. Sound blocking devices called pingers have been developed to significantly reduce the risk of bycatch by emitting frequent acoustic noises that deter cetaceans, dolphins, porpoises and whales. Stay away from the net in fear. Trawl nets are often used in long stretches of beaches where schools of fish are close to the sea. Large beach trawl operations for the same fish and other species are carried out in the Indian Ocean. The importance of this method has decreased because lymphatic pollution has cut the amount of fish available in this area and because public costs have increased. Not all fishing methods are suitable for mechanization. More successful were the mooring trawls, better known, because of their Danish origins in 1849, as Danish trawls. The device consists of a web similar to a tow net but has a large pocket and long arms connected to an extension cord. One of the ropes, up to 1,000 meters long, is tied to an anchor buoy. The remaining rope is tied to the ship, run in a wide circle, release the rope and return to the cannon. The string works to keep the mesh open and deep towards the back of the bag. The ship then pulls the rope together until the net bag is brought on board. This method is used in Northern Europe to catch flatfish and cod, and in Japan has become the most important method of inshore groundfish fishing, after the two-boat trawl method. The most important fishing equipment is under fins, made with older Lampara nets and more modern nets under fins. Both are display devices for pelagic fish in large, dense schools. When using these webs, the fish are first surrounded by a curtain or wall that is anchored at the surface and has mass at the bottom. The Lampara net has a large central part, or bagging part, and short arms. Float lines have longer fibers than high-quality fiber lines, so when the lines are extended, the net wings will touch each other at the bottom first, trapping the fish. When the net is brought in, the fish will be brought to the anchorage and caught. With tow purse nets, after the fish swarm around, the bottom net is closed by pulling a line through the rings attached to the wire. This pulls the net back at the bottom like a purse, and as the net is pulled in, the concentrated fish are removed by a dip net, or pumped onto the fishing boat. The bottom enclosure is used for live fish, herring, sardines and related species, salmon, mackerel and even cod, when they reach their birthplace in shallow waters. For these nets to be successful, the fish must be in large, dense schools. Light and strike are sometimes used as targets to create such a school. Fish can also be caught, in limited quantities, by upgrading the net. Fixed types are operated vertically. Along the shore, animals move from rafts and boats, and large livestock are kept at each corner by a small boat. The Soviet Union operated a commercial operation that raised its fishing net in the Caspian Sea to catch similar fish species attracted by light. Each of the ship's net-shaped caps operates, placing one while the other is hoisted. Another type of network enhancement is the Philippines' largest basic cartridge, operated by decoy lights at night beneath a single ship with an outer edge. Catch sardines, mackerel, fish, squid and other creatures living in the middle water layer. The Japanese have a special upgrade for mackerel. The fish, attracted by the bright light, fly through the lowered net into the water and are caught when the net is pulled up. Drifting is widely used for sea fishing. In Northern Europe, there was formerly a trawling profession, and drift nets were the most important deep-sea fishing method. In the old herring fishery in Northwest Europe, drifters often used more than 100 nets, each net about 30 meters long. Therefore, a drift network can be 3 or even 4 kilometers long. Nets are let loose in the afternoon to catch herring as they rise in the evening from the ocean floor to higher water levels. At night, the ship drifts along with the net like a mass of artillery. The hauling, done by hand or with mechanical aids, begins at midnight and, when many fish are collected, may continue until the last morning. Fish are transferred out of the net by hand or with a shaker. Similar is the screw mesh, which has 1 or 2 layers and 3 layers. Trammel mesh. They are used in marine fisheries to catch sharks, damselfish, salmon, sturgeon, flounder, shrimp, lobster, spiny shrimp, king crab and turtles. Single-layer nets are used in the Caspian Sea and the Black Sea to catch sturgeon by skillfully feeding them into the net. Iranian fishermen release about 150 sturgeon nets aligned perpendicular to the coast. Quite important in the maritime trade, nets are sometimes operated in long cargo scale sets. They often drift alongside ships or are moored in chains at or near the seabed. Nets are used for many medium-water fish species, such as herring, sardines and related species, mackerel, croakers, salmon, and finfish. They are also used for many bottom fish species such as cod, Alaska pollock and others. For cod, Icelandic fishermen build up to 90 groups, each about 50 meters long, at depths of up to 180 meters, and placing nets requires a lot of effort. Between each two nets, a rope is tied, connected to a short wooden peg hammered into the bottom. Turkish Black Sea fishermen sometimes set nets for sturgeon in a different form. The two nets always form an angle facing the sea. The net is held by wooden sticks inserted into the bottom. Sturgeon fishing nets are checked once or even twice daily, depending on the weather. To do this, an Iranian fisherman lies on the bow of his sailboat, pulling the vessel along the floating lines of the net. Sturgeon are removed from the water by hand or with a hook. The most important marine fishery for crustaceans is the king crab fishery in the northern Pacific Ocean. For the Japanese, who use entanglement nets, this is a very important offshore fishery, ranking alongside tuna and salmon fisheries. Originally carried out close to shore, the king crab fishery expanded into the northern Pacific after its start in the 1870s. Old land-based processing stations were replaced by floating factories. Comes with fishing boat. Entanglement nets are placed at the bottom, sometimes 200 nets with a total length of 10 kilometers in a row. Larger fishing vessels set 1,200 to 1,300 nets per day, usually in parallel rows about 500 meters apart. The nets stay in the water for 5 to 7 days and are hauled by small open boats with motor-powered spinning wheels, which can pull 2,500 to 3,000 nets a day out of the water. When towing, the buoy and lead are removed and the king crabs entangled in the net are removed from the net. The catch and nets are then transported to the mothership, where the catch is processed and the nets cleaned, an operation that can take 30 minutes per net. Large racks for drying and cleaning entangled nets are a feature of this type of vessel. A fishing unit may own a fixed set of nets of between 15,000 and 30,000 nets. A relatively new type of fishing gear is the harvester combined with a pump, used in the northern Caspian Sea for fishing sardines and squid off the California coast. In both cases, prey is attracted to light. Squid fishing can be done near the surface, but in the Caspian Sea, fish are sucked into boats by pumps from depths of up to 110 meters. When pumping, the suction nozzle is moved up and down by the suction light. Once on board, the fish or squid will be pulled out of the water.
Guys, good? Cha, cha.